A lot of discussion these days about police militarization. And while the temptation is to say, well, don't start nothing, won't be nothing, I have to say that I've never been a fan of seeing police tanks, or just tanks period, with riot squads roll through the streets of an American city. The president has announced new restrictions on military-style equipment for police. At the same time, he's also announced, get this, he wants a soft look to police uniforms and open postures. So it's kind of a double-edged sword here. What's the takeaway? Are these the right moves to be making? Joining me to discuss this is author and friend of the show, John Lott. He's president of the Crime Prevention Research Center. John, good to see you.
Great talking to you.
What do you make of the president's move on this, these restrictions? Because they got a lot of military style equipment from the Department of Defense. And I know that was, they had money for that. They allocated that to local police departments. They were able to obtain some of this equipment. But now why the sudden change? Because this is something that Bill Clinton had authorized back in the 90s originally.
Right. Well, I think there are two different types of equipment here. The main one that he's preventing any transfers of are not things that you see being used anyway. These armored vehicles with tracks rather than rubber tires, grenade launchers, bayonet mounts. I mean, Ferguson or Baltimore or New York, nobody's seen the police with bayonet mounts or using grenade launchers in any of these situations. So I think the main thing there is just purely rhetorical show on the president's part. The other part where they're going to put more restrictions on, I think, are more serious. They're going to make it more difficult for police departments to get armored Humvees, for example, or to go and have shields or helmets for police officers. There are good reasons why we have that. I mean, you look at Ferguson, you'd have a line of police trying to go and guard stores that are there. They're being pummeled with rocks and bottles. These guys have a tough job. If they can't feel protected, they're not going to be able to go and protect other people. They're not going to be able to go and stand there against a group of people throwing bottles at them. And so I'm not as concerned as I think a lot of people are with regard to, what we basically see the police using these weapons or these items for, like shields. I think shields have a very important role in protecting police. Armored vehicles are what allow them to go and do the job for us.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. But what do you make about the president? He had said this, this is from some of his speech yesterday. He was in Camden, and he introduced, in addition to this demilitarization, as he put it, he also wants to introduce a, quote, soft look for uniforms and open postures. What is a soft look for uniforms? What does that even mean?
I have no clue. Look, I think the president just wants to emphasize in many different ways that he thinks that police are the threat that's there. And I think police do a great job. I think that they, obviously there's mistakes from time to time and they should be called on it, but those are relatively rare. You look at the types of cases that the president's already stepped in, whether it's Ferguson or going back to the Cambridge police or the Trayvon Martin, the president's reacted before all the facts have been in and made a judgment. And he's been proven wrong time after time on those cases. I think the Department of Justice review that they did on the Ferguson Police Department was outrageous.